preparing to go live.
Yes, we are. Look at that.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, maybe I should accept it. We're live.
we are live. So welcome back to another Jen's Rants. How are you today?
I am. Yeah. Look at the
Ah,
wind brought in today.
I think it's only maybe 10 to 15 miles an hour. I think you said that it was up to 70.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, mm-mm. I don't know how you do that. I really don't know. Oh man. Yeah. So we are going to be sharing a rant today. So without further ado, welcome to Jen's Lives Rants. And today we have the beautiful Shannon Morrison, who is going to help us call forward some interesting behaviors that maybe we need to leave in 2025. Should we?
Yeah, 'cause we're just about done. Let's leave them. Leave them and let them go.
Yes, yes. So what is one behavior that you think that we should definitely leave in 2025?
In in like what alchemy here? Like coaching or promoting or like exactly expressively one piece of the puzzle. What piece of the puzzle are we talking about today for the whole gamut?
I don't know, Shannon. Which one do you want to start with? Because I know there are so many, so many that we can leave in 2025. So your
I think
specialty lies in um, making people come back to their authentic self. So, um,
I think I think what we're going to talk about today is and what you and I had talked about bringing forward really is like the missteps maybe. Like I feel like the coaching world as we know it, I'm a coach, an online coach, and so in my line of work, I think 2020 brought in a huge vastness of the numbers of coaching humans in the world in mass quantities, right? It like quadrupled or probably more than that in like 1 year's time because
yeah.
people realized they could stay at home and do something different. They couldn't go to work, that kind of thing. And I think that the power that we get to leave or lead forward in 26 is the power of integrity and authenticity. And I think that a lot of missteps have been created. I love AI. I use AI every single day, as do you. I'm not saying that AI is awful or evil, but I really feel like since 2020, like we've had this massive push to just really get to the end result really fast, and I think we've lost integrity. I think we've lost the connection or the responsibility to the human connection and what that can bring, um, and maybe even muddled the containers that we're in the process.
Mm, I love that. I love that. So, we talk a lot about the messy middle a lot,
Mhm.
you know. And it's something that I've been writing about quite a bit. And it's one of those things of, like with AI, we can kind of go from, like 0 to 110 in a matter of minutes. And,
Mhm.
if you actually sit down and you talk to some of the most aspirational people that the vast majority of us want to be like, we want to model our lives like, we want to model, our coaching businesses like, or our masterminds or our events or whatever we're doing like these people. If you actually get a chance to sit down at the table with them, a lot of them will say, a lot of the struggles that I had are what shaped me. And they're not saying that, you need to go and jump on the struggle bus and that you need to like struggle your way through it.
Mhm.
But what they mean by that is, going back to the scientific method, that they teach you in school of like, you have a theory, you test the theory, and then you get the data from it and you see, okay, what parts worked? Okay, let's keep that part. This part didn't work. Let's do a new theory around this, and then keep going. And then you will grow and you will learn and you will scale and you will do all those different things that way. And that messy middle of, like figuring out like what resonates with your people, what doesn't resonate with your people. And then also figuring out like, okay, I took these clients. I don't like the personality of these clients. How can I attract the exact opposite of that? And a lot of us are going to AI for some of it, which I use AI all the time. I use AI, to help me brainstorm ideas. I have it when I have an idea of like a post that I want to write, and I'm staring at a blank screen instead of, staring at a blank screen. I'm like, here's a photo, here's like a story about that, that I want to use with that photo. And then it kind of molds it. And then I'm able to put factual data with it, but it's given me a story, the timeline of the story that I don't have to sit there and think for like, sometimes 4 or 5 days to be able to write a post.
Exactly.
And
I
I
mean,
think
I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
go for it. No, go ahead. Go ahead. You're gonna
I
break
just
our
use
brain.
absolutely we don't want to break our brains. I used AI today in prompts. Like we had specific prompts. I love coaching. I love coaches. I have invested a astronomical amount of money in my self development and my coaching business so that I could lead me forward faster, right? We all want to build a bridge, and there's many people out there that can get you to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. And even today, I was in a mastermind with my mentors, and we were in this intense VIP group, and we used prompts, very tangible, very specific prompts to ask us or elicit questions from us to create something, right? So we had the framework, absolutely 100%. I think there can be a framework, but I think where it gets, I don't want to dilute the fact that we get to be intentional and build relationships along the way as well. And I think that life and business and abundance, everything about life as we show up, when we wake up, till we go to bed, is all about building relationships and creating those human connections. And just like I was like thinking about this conversation, and I was like looking back at the inner circle summit we just did. Every single person was like, we get to bring the human inside of the conversation. We get to have I showed my vulnerability and connected the dots for people because I have gone through a journey? Absolutely. So there's not like a one box fits all. And I think there's just like so much black and white. Like you can get to $1 million in 5 days if you join my coaching program. It's just not possible. We get to have some connection and realistic expectations while serving the human we see, right? I don't think there's a blanket container. And I think that's what really comes a lot is I get sold in the DMs all the time for stuff that wouldn't even make sense. Right. Like one of my coaches was like, I got sent, hey, do you want my thing? It's for men that are dads. I'm a woman and I don't have kids. So why would this even come into my DMs? Right. So I think that the first thing we get to do is create those connections, get in the DMs, build relationships. And that's how we sell or share or invite or prospect, right? Are they a good fit for us? Can I serve them in my capacity? And if I can't, okay, like, do I know, like you and I are, what do we say? We're connectors. I'm a relationship builder to my core. I love connecting with humans that are like-minded, and you're going to push me forward, right? Lead me forward, if you will. We say that all the time. So do I have somebody that maybe does this thing that this person needs that isn't me? And let go of the ego in that. I think
Yeah.
ego is what we
Yeah.
get to let go of in 2025.
Oh, that it's a little bitty word, but it comes up so often. It really, really does. And it creeps up in such the interesting ways. Because I too get pitched all the time in the DMs, and it's the most random things. It's like, oh my gosh, we just met. Like, it's literally like that song. It's like, call me maybe. Like, it legitimately is. It's like, hey, we just connected on Facebook. You need my book. What book? Like, why? Like, what book?
What do you say? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, I'm like, I don't even know. And then people will go to my thing and they're like, hey, you're a fellow author. Cool. Thank you for actually reading my bio. And then they don't even ask, well, what did you write your books about? And so it gets to be that connection piece of, building relationships with people. I say all the time, you're my favorite human that I met on Facebook all year long.
I love
And
that.
what was it? I was like, hey, let's just sit down and have a chat. And neither one of us, I don't even think we shared what we actually did on that call. I don't even
We
remember, but I
did.
don't think we
We did.
did.
We did. Well, you popped up in my calendar when I was in New York last year. And I was like, who in the heck is Jen? It just literally, friends, it literally said Jen. That's it. And I was like, so I reached out to her and I was like, hey, Jen, Shannon here. I'm just curious if because I was doing a lot of summits and podcast shows and getting on other people's stages last year. And I was just like, I just don't know. I was like, maybe I've just literally forgot about this human. I was like, this is just so interesting. And she's like, no, we just connected on Facebook and I would love to have a conversation with you and learn more. That's how we get to connect with humans. And
Yes,
then perhaps in that conversation, be like, I don't know if this is for you, but I have this amazing inner circle, right?
exactly.
And it comes naturally because we connected, we had a conversation. We're both women in business, we're both moms. There were so many connections in that first call. And you're like, oh my gosh, you need to see these three people. I'm gonna make the connections tomorrow, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, and how many people reciprocation, right? And that is a collaboration. And I think that is what's gonna be, I think integrity relationships is what we've learned to create in 2025. And the box deal, the modules, the just here's my thing, you look at it, I'm not going to have a piece of it, you're not going to see me, but here's my container, go in there. I think in the coaching business that's not even going to be a thing anymore, because if we learned anything in the last 5 years, is that we really need connection, and we soar with accountability and leadership in a collaboration way. And so that integrity, that responsibility, that leadership will grow and lead us forward in 2026 when we can do that. I just feel like relationships, connection, and maybe back to need, because you've been to more events in the last 4 years than I have in person, but um, I just feel like we're really needing to connect in person,
Yeah.
live,
Yeah.
in a room, in wherever, on a boat, wherever it is, on a beach. We've had many conversations of like, okay, this warm beach in the
Are
ocean would be
we
really
are we
great.
gonna do in a house in a box with a fox?
Integrity in relationships and integrity is the performance moving forward, instead
Mhm.
of the numbers and what did you create, and creating that negative flow of like shame and whatever when you don't hit the numbers, or you don't
Yeah.
create the one, or you don't get so many hits on your website or your book sales or whatever. I think that we all have massive goals, and as coaches, it's our responsibility to lead people in their way, um, by giving, by just really enhancing the person's belief in themselves, not telling them or at them what to do. I think it's
Right.
really about transformation within themselves. It's just like what I do in my perspective. Again, this is no slam on anybody. I love coaching. I love coaches. I've had many coaches. And what I know to be true is we get to enhance what's already within the human, not
Mhm.
change the human. We cannot change anybody's mind or change the human. It is up to them to do the
Right.
work, and we just create the framework for it. And
Yeah.
that's where that connection, that relationship. It's just like me, our first conversation, right? We built a framework right there of
Yeah.
how our relationship was going to conspire in whatever. And so I think that's where the industry went wrong, is we got used to just sending somebody something digital because we couldn't be in person anymore, and thinking that's okay. I don't think that's okay anymore.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that there's a push to go back more to in-person events. And but they're different, you know. They're also very much more intentional with like who they're bringing in, who the speakers are. Um, and then also like the audience that they're targeting as well too. Because I know like some of the events that I'm already slated to go to next year, like the event hosts are reaching back out to me and they're like, hey, like we love your energy when you come and like you host meetups, and we love that. We love people that come and like get other people excited to come. And it makes for a good experience for them, and it makes for a good experience for the event host to have those types of people that are just going to come in and genuine be like, hey, look, everyone's welcome here as long as you're kind and you're respectful. And now I'm talking like Molly Mahoney here. But you know, as long as you guys can have the understanding of like, yes, you can agree to disagree, but that we're all going to be at this space at this time and do these things, you know, everybody can come. And I think there's this big push to have like these little micro hangouts at these events because it makes people feel more welcome. It makes people be like, oh my gosh, like these aren't just clicky people. These are people that are like, hey, Shannon, hey, I just met you at the bus stop. We're going over here. You want to hang out? And that makes people feel more welcome. It makes them feel like, oh my gosh, I'm coming. And now I'm not just some woman who's at this random event and I don't know anybody and I'm sitting next to this weird person over here. You know, then it becomes a camaraderie because then you can be like, oh, you're going to this session. Oh, I'm going to that one. You want to meet up for whatever later.
Love that.
And it makes
Yeah,
the experience of the event so much better.
it does.
And that's something that, you know, even my parents, you know, when my dad builds power plants, the way that he was able to have all the different connections that he had, he wanted to meet somebody. The way that they did that, you know, early on was my dad would get off work and he'd go hang out at a bar and have a couple of drinks next to, you know, whatever job site or whatever company he wanted to meet people at, because that's what they did. You know, you go
Yeah.
where the people are, you go
Yep.
where there
Exactly.
is a chance for you to be able to do that. Um, and I mean, to this day, like there, some of those people are still like near and dear family friends of ours, all because my dad was sitting in a bar and probably offered to buy them a beer
Absolutely.
or more,
100%.
probably more than that, but
It's fine. There is no
it's
judgment here. I mean, this is a but it's not a judgment zone.
right. No judgment zone, but it is a rant because we are leaving a lot of stuff in 2025, but we are calling forward that behaviors that do need to change, you know. You know, one of the things is please stop pitching in the DMs. If you had not
Yeah.
even said
If you do not
hello,
know the if you yeah, if like cold, like, hey, join this, blah blah blah, or you need this, blah blah blah. Like if you don't know the human, absolutely 100%. Do not send. And secondly, don't send this many words in the DMs of your cold spell.
yeah, I'm not reading that.
Like it's just a hard no. I don't even know the words after the seventh word, right? So like little
Yeah,
short conversations, right? I think what the biggest
yeah,
thing I've learned is that in that chat, that conversation, absolutely, I sell in the back of the room, right? I don't sell face forward in what they call it. What was it today? I
mhm.
laughed so hard. She didn't call it Facebook. She called stories of face or story of, I don't know what she said. Book of faces.
Stories of
That's
the
what she,
Facebook.
yeah. I was like, book of faces. I love that. Anyway, I don't sell like that. I'm like, let's connect. Let's
Yeah,
have a conversation. Let me learn about your family life, what your values are, where you want to go. and let's just have a conversation and see if we can do something, you know, let's see if we can lead forward. If
Yeah.
not, so cool. I get to meet another human. It's a win-win, right? For
Right.
me, because I love building relationships. And I think in the last 5 years, I can't even tell you how many humans I have met in my Zoom room that I have done life with. I have met them in their home, or they picked me up from the airport, or I have gone on a trip with, or we've created an adventure or collaboration or retreat with, just because we had the audacity to really connect and not just do that one thing, right? Not just get in the
Yeah.
cold DMs and be like, hey, I saw that you do this. I think you need this blanket black and white thing. There's a way to do that. And I think a lot of people are teaching it now, but it's like this might not be for you, but if you're
Yeah.
curious about it, it can certainly send you more information. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Like
Should I
especially how like,
should I tell them the DMs that I've been sending out?
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Because it's getting a lot of responses. So much
Absolutely.
so that like my friend is like, "Hey, how are you? Are you doing okay?" So
I heard from you for a little bit.
yeah, well, it's just because I mean, I love connecting with humans. That's something that Shannon and I love. And so one of the things is one of my coaches challenged me. He said, talk to so many people you can't fail. And I was like, done. Hold my
Done.
beer, hold my
Um,
coffee, hold all the things.
Shannon,
Yeah.
if somebody asks of her something, it's going to be like done 10x and tenfold, like now. So I hope has your family been eating? Are they getting water, or have you seen them? Okay, I'm just checking.
Yes, yes, all the things because one, Carl has been off this whole week. So yes,
Oh, perfect.
everybody is eating. For those of you who don't know, in my household, my husband cooks. He also cleans. I'm kind of sort of the spoiled wife.
I love it.
Um,
I
but
love it.
anyway, so one of the things that so he challenged me, he said, talk to so many people you can't fail. And I was like, cool, done, gonna do it. So then I was looking through my database and I was like, man, I have some of these automations. I'm going to turn them off. And I happened to get on a call with another awesome human, Ramon Ray. If you don't know the man, connect with him, send him a voice note and says, Jen says you're an awesome human. We need
You're
to
an
connect.
awesome human.
Um, you'll know why. He will respond
Mhm.
back. He will love it. But anyways, and I was sitting there and I was listening to one of his things and I was like, man, I need another way to re-engage these people. And I was like, man, it's the holidays, it's just kind of been like a weird last couple of years for a whole bunch of people for a whole bunch of different reasons. And so I just went in the DMs and I started asking people, what does support look like for you right now? Be like, hey, we haven't connected in a while, or hey, we haven't ever connected, one on one. But I just wanted to ask you really quickly, what does support look like for you right now? I'm not asking them if they'll buy anything. I'm not asking them for a phone call. I'm asking them like, hey, what does support look like for you? And I'm getting all sorts of responses from things. The fan is even broken and life is like lifing to like, I have a hot air balloon and I'm in the atmosphere.
I love
But
it.
the craziest thing is that the vast majority of people, when I respond to them and I'm like, oh my gosh, like do you want to sit down and do you want to have a chat? Whether their fan is even broken or they're in a hot air balloon, they're like, absolutely, because I didn't pitch
Mhm.
them anything other than
Yep.
let's chat.
Let's
Because I
chat.
don't even know if I can help them.
And that's okay. More than likely you're going to have a human that you know that can, if you cannot, and you are so wise. And you have gifts coming out your ears that you don't share as often as you could. So I'm sure in your toolbox of tools, maybe I'm going on a different rant. Maybe this should be that rant. No, I'm just joking.
Oh,
Um,
you're gonna out me. That's what you're gonna do. That's the rant we're having today. That's the behavior we're calling forward today is that Jen is the best kept secret.
of us are. Let's just be honest. I think 2026 is where we get to go from hype to sustainability, from like this crazy identity to responsibility and authenticity, but also we get to be seen. And otherwise, those humans that are our avatar, or those humans that we have dreamt about serving, will never get served. And so who are we, like, who are we not to do that? Who are we not to serve in that capacity? If it's a gift we have, I feel like it's almost a responsibility. If we have these amazing gifts that we just think are just, they're just natural, and I'm sure you think the same thing. I'm like, this isn't that cool. I'm not that cool. I am just this human that knows this stuff, right? And but I think that who are we not to gets to be the conversation in 2026, with like divine connection underneath it, of we are who we are, and this is what we can share. It's not for you, cool. Keep scrolling if it's not for you. I love you through all of it. Right?
Exactly, exactly. And then that comes into that effortless, piece of, when you're
Yep.
when you're there and you're chatting with people that you're like, man, like I could really help this person, and being able to say, like, I have something that can help you. Are you interested? Because it makes it so much easier when you're like, I can totally help you. Like, do you want me to help you like set up like your system? I think several times you have asked me about different stuff and go high level. And I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, like it's here.
Yeah.
And all the different things. And so many people they get so stuck in that. They get so stuck in whatever it is that they can't figure out. That if they just phone a friend, they would get there so much faster. And that's the beauty of like all the different things that we do is each one of us, when we band together and we have all these different zones of genius and all these different things, we get to go faster because if I can't figure out something, either Shannon can help me or Shannon knows somebody that can help me, and vice versa.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%. I think that because of all of the technology that we have access to, the frameworks are easier to create. We get to be different. We get to show up different, to get out of the vanilla, basically. Okay.
Yeah.
First and
Mhm.
foremost. But I think the time of being a solo or entrepreneur where you're just out there doing your thing by yourself is not reality in 2026. I really feel like we need friends. We need friends that we're masterminding or co-working. I don't know. Raise your hand or put in the chat if you're watching on live. Like, who does co-working things where you have these amazing friends that are strategic in what you're creating too, at all different levels, even if you're just doing work together in your own computer and not even talking, but you're there and you're time blocking your time. To save time, you can ask quick questions, or get those tidbits to just get something done in real time. We have a lot of friends that are wise, and I know you have your zone of genius, and there's so many humans that we know, or that connected here, that have different zones of genius, that a simple question can maybe serve, and then you'll know what they can help you with. It is building bridges. That's what this is. To serve humans is to build bridges so that you can go faster. I mean, we get to stop losing the integrity of it, or of ourselves, to create it.
Yeah.
So
So let's touch on that for a minute because, so many people, and this is something that I think this was a post that you were like, man, like this is a really good nail on the head. And, this hits to that part of like that self-made, you know,
mhm.
because we see all these headlines of like, you know, self-made billionaire overthrows Taylor Swift,
Mhm.
and we think, okay, well, we're running our little business and we don't want like $1 billion empire like Taylor Swift has, or any of these, large entities have like that. And so we think, oh man, we can build all this on our own. But I don't think that headline really means what it means. So what's your perspective on that?
Oh gosh, what's your perspective on that, Jennifer?
Oh, my perspective, you cannot do that alone. It undermines every single thing
It
that
does.
that is about that, because even Taylor Swift talks about like how like she gives her teams bonuses, she gave her drivers bonuses. So she's out there telling like all these other people are like the backbone of all of her success. And then the headlines go and say Taylor Swift is, a self-made billionaire. No, she's
Yeah.
not.
No, she's not. I don't think anybody is. I think in the back, no one sees the back end. It's just like at the very beginning of my coaching practice, I was like, no one knows what's behind your front door. Like
Mhm.
zero judgment. You literally, it doesn't matter the size of the house, the color of the car, the label on whatever, it doesn't matter. You have zero freaking clue what is behind or what's underneath that, right? And then it is the same with every single person's business. And you're like, this person just blew up all of a sudden. Well, they've probably been working on it for 15 freaking years. And they probably spent the first 5 trying to do it themselves. And they found a coach or somebody that said, man, woman, this is never going to go forward like you want it to do. Your dreams will absolutely happen probably by the time you're 99. Do you want to move faster? You get to have a team,
Mhm.
right? Every
Yes.
person that has ever published a book has had at least 5 people look at that book before it was ever published. But they maybe have 6 books in before that first one's even noticed, right? Or
Mhm.
the person is a musician. I have a cousin, my husband's cousin is an amazing, beautiful, brilliant musician. And she's been doing music and teaching music and doing music lessons for so long. And she's just finding the traction where she's going to Nashville and she's doing things, right? But
Mhm.
woman's been out there hustling for so long, so long.
Yeah.
And I just like you get to have a team. And I think that a lot of times our thought process is I don't have the money or the time to have a team. And most of the time it's like I don't have the money for that. But my question for you in that another rant is because I've heard so many people, I can't wait till I'm like you and can hire a VA. Well, I could never have created some of the things that I've created without a VA because I know it would be faster, it would get done, and I didn't have to touch it until I could like just say, hey, yay or nay, right? But I could do the other parts, like, right? And that's where it gets in their strengths. But I'm just like, no, 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 no. How much time will you spend on doing this yourself? And how much longer will it take you to get there if you do not have a team of humans that
Yeah.
know how to do it? And it might not be a VA, but it might be
Mhm.
the expert team. It might be your dang
Yeah.
lawyer. Who's on your team to help you move forward, right?
Yeah.
And so no one is self-made. I
No
really
way.
don't think that is. There's no way. First
Every
of
time I
all,
see that headline, it makes me want to just like cringe. Like, can we?
exactly. I'm like, no, I'm
No,
not self.
no.
For me to be able to speak on stage and be like, let them, and to show up with integrity, like so many humans, I mean, I invested a lot of time, talent, energy, and money into all the things that I have learned up until now. Absolutely 100%. But people poured into me. The tables I sat poured into me and led me forward. The leadership that I've learned poured me forward, and my humans. Like y'all have a tribe, right? You have a tribe of humans. You just talked about it. You're like, I might be the spoiled wife who gets taken care of, completely 100% okay. It's perfectly acceptable behavior. I love that. So there's a team that helps
No,
you
that's the
move.
gold standard. We're gonna put this out here for the young girls. It's the gold standard to be the
Gold
spoiled
standard.
wife. It's the gold
It is.
standard.
It is. But that helps you do other things.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Other background. It helps you sit and connect, helps you build your business. It helps you create your automations to connect with people that after you talk to them. It helps move the needle forward, every single bit of it. I mean, if you did, I was thinking about the hours a day. That's 2 or 3 extra
Yeah.
hours a day you have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe that's all you have in a day, friends. Maybe they only have 4 hours a day to do business stuff. That's and then that means you only have an hour. So yeah, absolutely, 100%. That is a good rant. I like that one. Headlines.
You like that rant? So
Katie.
speaking of like getting a team and, you know, so we've talked a little bit about time, but we've never really fully dove into time. But that is the most precious commodity that anybody has. So, you know, you really want to compound your time and maximize, you know, the impact that you have with people. Why not bring other humans along? Because not only are you, you know, impacting your clients, but now you're also impacting those humans that you are paying to.
Absolutely. It's the ripple effect.
Yes. Yes, it is. It's the ripple effect. And you get to impact their lives. You get to mentor them. You get to lead them forward. You get to do all these amazing things with these humans. And you get to teach them all sorts of stuff along the way.
Absolutely. And I really feel like we are connecting to good humans here. I feel like we get to honestly a lot of everybody's business that grows. I just was just Liza. I follow her. Lord have mercy. It's fine. Names elude me. And she said something very, very powerful. It's sometimes it's 10% skill and it's 90% heart and the will and the good human that you are that can create a powerful team. I think that everybody can learn something. And so it's really you showcasing what you need from them or what the expectation is right away. And I feel like when you're hiring a team, something that I have learned because it's just like, well, they should just know everything. No, hell to the no. Sorry. No one knows what's in my brain. Not one person knows the thoughts that are in my brain. And a lot of times what's in my brain does not come out my mouth. And so something that was taught to me like 4 years ago was when you're creating something or when you're doing something, create a loom, put it in a Google Doc. Create this is who I am to my core, this is my bio, this is where all my things are, whatever. And as you do that through your building your business, whatever business that is, you will have the documentation to hand over to your team. They will know your values, they will know your wins, what you've grown through, how to create something, and what your expectations lie in that. And they will learn to create it the way you want to, instead of that ego.
Yeah.
There's that word again. But yeah,
Yes.
I feel like I have moved so much faster when I ask for support. And I feel like I think in my experience, I felt like if I asked for support before, then it was like I wasn't smart enough or it was something of me that was broken or less than. And I got to shift that, and that is ego. I got to shift that and be like, no, if I ask for support, that's love, it's support where it's needed. And is there a reciprocity?
Right. Right.
Right. There
Because,
gets to
you
be
know,
energetic or some sort of reciprocity in the situation as
yeah,
well.
I
Back and
know.
forth.
So this came up in one of the conversations that I had with my oldest, because our girls are about 5 years, within 5 years of each other, our oldest. And one of the things was is that she was having a hard time receiving gifts from people. And one of the conversations that I had with her is because she always wanted to be generous. She always wanted to help people. And one of the things that, and I had to learn this too, was you're taking away someone else's joy and being your blessing when you feel like you always have to be the one that's helping. You always have to be the one that is helping other people. but you're never allowing other people to feel that joy. So you're, in an essence, you're robbing people of the joy of helping people. And I had to go through, teaching my teenage daughter at the time that, to really be like, oh, holy moly, like, hold on, where am I doing that at? To really realize that sometimes, like, man, yes, like, I do need a phone a friend, and I've done that. I did that with the summit too. I know I reached out to you, to talk, just brainstorm through some different things, because while I'm really good at the automations and different things like that, when you're in the throes of doing all that, sometimes it's good to just have an outside voice to,
It is.
chat with. I talked to Dan because I was like, there's this one little part of my website that I could not get it to behave no matter what I tried. He hopped
Yep.
in and do within like 5 minutes, it was done. I mean, of course, like, it took 30 minutes because he's an hilarious guy. If you don't know Dan Gentry, connect with the man, ask him
Yeah,
for
he's
a theme song, and ask him to talk like Donald Duck.
Oh my God, that is hilarious. No, he is an amazing, brilliant human.
Mhm.
I and has so many strategic ways to have easy buttons that can give clarity so quickly. I love that. And I love that we can have those humans that were like, okay, I am obviously missing something. My website the other day, I was like, friends, I have done this, I have gone through this. I have no idea why I keep getting a 404. Like, I keep getting a 404. I have no idea. I have these two humans that I do co-working with, and I was like, there is something that I obviously have not connected correctly. Like, no shame or blame. My technology is super fun sometimes. I am learning to master technology, right? It is a growth aspect. We have this intense relationship. Love every second of my learning. Anyway, we went through it. They're like, I don't know. Everything's connected, right? I was like, where is the, like, I don't understand. So we went all the way back to the very, very beginning of my website. It was so funny. It was in my domain for my homepage. The domain was like all these random letters and numbers. That's what was in there. I was like, I'm pretty sure that I just didn't put a bunch of X's and P's and percentages and threes and fours in this line. I would have known my domain name. Anyway, simple, but it like they're like, well, you had me buffaloed. I was like, what is wrong with this? I don't understand. And so it literally took somebody else's eyes just to like go through like all the like, where could this
Yeah.
be? Obviously it's a domain issue. It was so funny, just like that. It took like 5 minutes, but they were stumped as well as I was. I was like, I don't know where to find this, right?
Yeah.
And it's that it's just kind of like editing a book or editing something that it's really important. You're going to put it in a presentation. Maybe it's your speech. You're going to go up on stage and do your TED talk, and you have somebody else look at it, right? To just ensure, because our brains are super awesome at just making things be what they're supposed to be. And it might not be the right word. May or may not have experience from this. I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I love your word. Our brains are super awesome. Um, they are
Super awesome.
super awesome. So I'm going to add a word, super awesome at being lazy. So, and what I mean by that is they do not like to pause and actually like function the same function every time. So what they do is they will make a neural pathway, and it's like, okay, this is how we're going to do it. Bloop, 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 bloop. And that's how we go. So we get on autopilot a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, we're on autopilot most of the time. Our subconscious is working 99.9% of the day. I'm so glad because we get to breathe, right? We don't have to think about breathing. We can get in our car mostly generally, maybe not today, without really paying attention. We can get to where we're going with thinking about what we're making for dinner and what we're going to say at our next conversation, that kind of stuff. I won't be able to do that today. It's too hostile out there in the world that I live in today. But 99.9% of the time, we're living in our subconscious. We're not consciously aware of our actions or what we're saying or what we're doing because we're on autopilot constantly. And so we get to be intentional about that. How are we showing up? What is our energy we're putting out? Because whatever we say, we ask for is going to come back to us tenfold.
yes. It's
Fine.
almost
I'm really
like it's almost like words matter.
yeah, 199%. Between 1 and 10, 100%, friend. Words do matter. Words do
Yes.
matter. So like this is the time of year, just in my point of view, this is the time of year everybody's like doing their vision board and they're like the words of the year and whatever. And we just had this conversation with my mentor today, and it was so funny because like we ask for what we want, but I would invite everybody to think about what they are asking for and to make sure it's not going to create hardships in
Chaos.
their life. Yeah, no slow ups, no hang ups, no bail money.
Yeah.
Anyway, just things that could controversial get in your way. I just think about what you ask for because the universe will help you. Um,
But you got to be
anyway, it was
super
just fun.
clear. Let's be real.
Clear.
You got to be very clear, very specific.
Make that prompt to the universe as specific as possible. If you need to ask the universe to ask you 10 questions to make sure you're correct in it, just like you do for your AI, go ahead and do it.
Yeah. Maybe 20, just to be safe. You know,
Oh my, I can't think
yes,
of what my mentor
you
said
can't ask for
before.
alignment and then get upset when alignment shows up.
That's it.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like don't ask for
It
resourcefulness. Don't ask for, I mean, be resourceful, but don't ask for like, there was, I can't think of the one she said, and I was like, oh, that's a bad word of the year because she's like, I learned a lot. Every single time I came with controversy, I learned a lot through it, but that's what I asked for that year because that was my word of the year. And I was like, holy crap, this really, it just put another light
that's kind
on.
of like you going, so you become an adult and you most people that are faith-filled, they like get rebaptized, when they're an
Yeah,
adult.
yeah.
And that's like going to like Bible study, like women's Bible study for like the first time, and the older ladies tell you, do not pray for patience.
That is, yes, don't pray for patience. That is a really good idea. They'll be exact. That was like one of the words that she was using. I was like, that is exactly right. I have grown a lot of patience. Has that been my words, or have I asked for patience? No. But have I grown patience? Absolutely. I'm a different human when it comes to the patience category. The Richter scale used to be non-existent. That is something to celebrate. We should probably celebrate that later. Anyway,
Well,
do not ask for.
we'll celebrate that what, not next week, but the week after, when we're figuring out whatever our adventure is going to be. But yeah, I mean, yes, there are words like you should definitely make sure. And then the other thing is too, is that I've learned as well too, you can define. So you can define what those words mean. So like, say for instance, alignment. You can define what alignment is for you, you know? Like alignment in these types of categories, patience for X, Y, and Z. And so you can really get super specific on, what you actually mean by that. And that's why I'm like, you don't need to ask 10 questions. You need to ask probably like 20 or 30. And because when you start getting super specific, of like what you want, where you want to go, like what you want to do with the money you bring in, where all this is going to come from, how you're going to do it, what people are going to be there, what people are not, all these different characteristics, the people that I have around me now, like they have at least 2 to 3 of the same core values that I do.
Yep, exactly.
And that was something specific that I wanted. I wanted people that had more than 2 of the same core values that I had. And one of them being very, very connected to their family. Because that's very important to me. Anybody that has ever met me has experienced not only me, but they've experienced my family. Whether that's just me and my daughter, or that's me and my mom and my dad and my daughter, or it's all of us and the big, huge Brady Bunch. Like it's something super, important to me. I want my family to be around, in and around all the different things that I do. Even sometimes when there's people in my school community, that are doing interesting things. I'll hand him the phone and be like, hey, what do you think about this? Um, and he's like, give him a try, or no, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that, like, yeah, you called this right, but he's not a technology dude. Like, he barely knows how to work his computer for work. Because he's very much a
I think
blue collar
we're
guy.
all people.
He very much is a blue collar, Oilfield guy. Very much works with his hands. But he can still, call me out on, I don't know, and
Yep.
so never discount that. And then, you've gotten to experience Gwen on some of the Zoom calls. She says it like it is. She's very, like,
It does.
straightforward,
I love
like,
it.
hey, like, no, like, we got to do this. And it's like, okay. And I'm like, I'm sorry. She was very direct, but I was trying to, like, ask you the questions to, like, get you
You have
there.
7 more minutes. I will be there in 7 more minutes. No, I feel like I love it when first of all, love it or not, our family's going to lead us forward, and they love us so much that they're going to express their feelings and expectations and thoughts and whatever, and we absolutely can take that into consideration. And you are so close, and you're all embedded in everything that you do. I love it. It's a beautiful synergy that you have with your family. And so, like that, like, right, that is something that you value significantly. And um you're going to that's part of your alignment, and that's part of who you will hang out with, is people that are that solid in their family. If you had me on Snapchat, you would have seen so many funny moments on Tuesdays, family supper. I should send you some pictures. I'll remember to do that later. I love that about you. So that's not a rant, by the way. I love that about you. So very cool.
I love how, well, and then the other day when I was testing out messages, I had my daughter sitting over here sending out messages on Instagram, you know?
Yeah,
And so, because she was bored, she had finished school,
and
she was
it can be a
homeschooling, and I
family
was
business.
like, it technically it is, because
It
I
is.
I mean, technically it is, because
Well,
my
it is.
mom is my co-founder.
Yeah,
But, she gets to learn these things.
absolutely. And
Because
it's gonna be useful later.
mhm, mhm.
All the things that
Yeah.
she learns right now in this structure and this way, where she can, in a safe place, right? She's world schooling basically. In this container that she has right now, she can ask questions, and she can fail forward. Like, failure is learning. It's not failing. That's another thing that we're leaving in 2025, friends. There's
Love
no
it.
one's
Yes.
no one's
Yes.
failing at anything. Failure is learning. So you may have learned a shit ton in 2025, and maybe you learned a handful of things, and all of it is blessings to lead you forward into 2025. So I think
Yeah.
that, as I think we've talked about a lot of things. um my ADD might have gotten crazy, but literally I feel like the tools that we have been resourceful to gain in the last 5 years, um are are both significant and amazing. But I feel like we get to, moving forward in 2026, we get to be intentional about bringing the human connection back to the face of our platforms, the face of our connections and our coaching calls. um Leading with vulnerability or imperfection is going to build that connection even more. Like, don't mess up just to be messing up, but, like, we're humans. And humans are both beautiful and emotional beings, and we do make mistakes. And to show up with love and integrity to the end. We've had conversations about that in the last 4 months, right?
Hmm.
But the discernment to know who you should or could serve gets to be part of the puzzle, I think, and part of the decision. I don't think we're made for everybody. And I think that acknowledgement to who do I want to lead forward? Who do I want to work with? Maybe it's an application process, instead of I'm helping everybody and I'm going to sell to everybody. I don't think that is even, it's not a good thing. And you know how I am. I'm all about authenticity, integrity, who you are to your core matters. And that's who I serve. It's not me
Mhm.
fixing anybody. Like so many people are like, I'm not a fix it human. Do I go into fix it mode and be like, you have this within you. I see the brilliance. Let me show you the way. That's how I
Yeah,
coach, right? And that's coaching. That's not teaching. Teaching is
the
something
workshops.
completely different.
Yeah. And that's that knowing the difference between them, you know, between teaching and mentoring and coaching. And you know, we kind of throw these words around a little bit, but even at the same time, you know, a lot of the times, you know, people come to us and they're like, oh my gosh, you can fix me. And it's like, no, we're just showing you something different. You know, we're just asking you the questions and getting you to realize that it was already there.
Mhm.
You know, like today, like I had a consult today, brilliant woman, absolutely brilliant. She's phenomenally like gifted, you know, but she's not gifted in the things that I know. And she brought her dog, like her cutest, like chocolate lab
Oh,
dog,
like you
adorable.
should have time.
I mean, if I would have known she was going to bring her chocolate lab, I would have brought my chocolate lab. They would have had so much fun together. But I mean, you know, but there are things that she doesn't know that I know. And so it gets to be that space of like, I don't know this. I'm going to call Shannon and talk it out. And then all of a sudden, this is what usually happens when you have these peer groups of these people like this is you're just going to start rambling
Mhm.
and the idea just pops out.
Yep.
It
From the
literally
conversation.
just comes from within you because you have that space of you have this safe container of, you know, it just pops out, you know, going back to like the website with Dan, like I was having trouble with the timer. And while we were in there and we were fixing it, I was like, hey Dan, wouldn't it be really cool to add that extra layer of like urgency if the timer next to the checkout button was like right there as it was like following people? And he was like, I can do that. And he's like, here you go. And I'm like, thank you.
Exactly. And it gets us thinking about what other things we can create next time. Or it gives them an opportunity, just like my coach learn I learn from my clients all the time, right? I learn different pieces of different tools and a way to move faster, better, stronger to serve my clients better every single day. And I think that's our another reason that we're humans, right? And so we get to take that. Dan probably learned, well, I didn't even think this would be it. I didn't even think about this. This wasn't even in my fortress of knowledge to do this, and I can build it. So why would I not have this on a future thing that I'm creating, right? And so when you have these peer groups, these inner circles, these masterminds, that's how you grow faster, and that's how you learn collaborations and meet the people that you can support and learn from later on. That's have been the best relationships when we're like, hey, Shannon, hey, Jen, I have this question. Later on, it's probably going to turn into something different. So I love that. We're
Yeah,
all wise. We all have gifts.
we do. We all have gifts that one, we were inherently given. And then we also have gifts that we have molded and that we have, you know, refined over the years. So we have both.
Absolutely.
And when
Yeah.
we start using both of them together in unison,
Mhm.
it's the craziest thing that happens because it's like, oh my gosh, like that was so easy. You know,
Yep.
it's like the Staples easy button, you know?
It, I, you
And
know, I think I need one of those.
I used to tell my clients all the time. So, and this is one of the things, you know, is one of the things when you're on this perpetual wheel of like hard you know, like fighting and things like that, I was like, there is no easy button. And in a way there's not when you are sitting there and you are doing things out of order, you
Hmm.
know. But when you break down a lot of the frameworks and you break down a lot of the different things, it really does become an easy button because it's like, okay, like take for instance my Facebook group that I have. The only way it's very simple. You want to be able to do your products and services in there. It's payment link. That's it. It's simple. Like I don't have a fancy smancy landing page. I don't have all this crazy stuff for it. People have questions, they can come to me. I made it so simple for people.
Yep.
And then by the way, I am hosting a meetup on Monday because somebody was like, you should just host a meetup. And I was like, okay. I mean, Rachel Miller has the best tagline ever of she's the professional people collector. And
I love it.
I love that.
that.
I love that time. I love it. I'm gonna call her and be like, I'm stealing your tagline.
You can't steal our tagline. You get to create your own.
I know.
I can't wait.
I know. But I love it because it is such it's such a beautiful representation of, when you go in there and you're like, I just love people. But then it has that weird, like, are you like a wax collector?
Possibly. Possibly.
No, but she's an amazing human. If you don't know who she is, I will connect you with her.
She is.
But it comes to the point to where it's like, okay, like I'm the glue that brings all these different people together. Maybe that's what I can say is I'm the professional gluer. I don't know. I don't think it has the same ringtone.
You could totally use one of your amazing tools to create a tagline that, you could talk it to it and tell it all of your brilliance and your wisdom and say, hey, could you help me create 5 or 10 options of a tagline that is nowhere else that I can utilize that fits who I am as Jen, the second people collector that I know.
Well, you're also a people collector too.
I am. I am.
And I think that, but it's kind of one of those things that when you have so much joy in your life and when you've gotten to this other side of, like there is so much beauty even in the messy middle, that man, I just want to share it with so many people. Like, okay, like I'm at my parents' house right now, and here in about an hour, the next door neighbors have a 2-year-old that absolutely loves my dad's golf cart. He literally makes a beeline for my dad's golf cart as soon as he gets out of his mom's car. And it's this beautiful thing because, like, my dad's 82. He gets to hang out with this like 2-year-old, takes him riding around the neighborhood. So and yes, but it's so joyous for both of them. They're so like happy. And so when we're in this state and we genuinely love the life that we have, are there hard moments? Are there hard days? Yeah, duh. But when we are sitting there and we're like, okay, like that was hard. Okay, I love you. I feel you. I see you. I let you go. Bye. And then we're like, okay, then we're gonna go in the garage and we're gonna, hang out, we're gonna have beer and we're gonna, do all the fun things and all that different stuff. It makes it so much more that we want to be like, oh, all the humans, just come. Like all the humans that are like me, just come on. And
that's why we're in Zoom together. It's not just you ranting your own self.
Yeah, well, I mean, but we're also ranting to LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook right now too.
I'm so excited. So all the humans. So yeah, all the humans. All the humans. No, I would love to know what everybody, all the humans, friends, on all the places. I would love to know what you're letting go or what you're leaving in 2025. How many days do we have left? Not very many. Of 2025. I don't even like less than 2 weeks.
2 plus 13 days.
Yeah. So yeah. So we get to figure that out.
Yeah.
And I think 2026 is for really dreaming big, doing something bold, making some bold moves, and being seen for who you are. And tools are amazing. Tools will not replace you.
No.
And your wisdom.
Nope. So Shannon, I want to know what's your bold moves that you're doing for 2026? What are you going to be doing different in 2026 than you did in 2025?
Um, that is a really good question, Jen. I am building up to be more bold and show up differently. I love that. I've been really cultivating that in 2025 and learning in 2025. And so I do have these seasons of where I like invest in learning and then apply and move forward in the next year. And so I'm really, really great. I'm really excited to move through that season. So many things, so many things. I'm in a book. We're gonna go to New York again in March. So I'm super stoked about that. To be on Times Square and to showcase that and do a book signing and connect with all the authors in this amazing Art of Connection. 365 Days of Resilience book is going to be amazing. I love that. So that's gonna be my first bold move is doing that and creating an event, most likely in the Midwest with one of the founder of the book series. That's a bold move for me. He asked me if I would be interested into helping him host it, and I was like, "Rock on, let's do it." I think it's really great to do that in the Midwest. It's always like there's a lot of different events, in New York or Phoenix or Texas or just California, right? And there's a lot of states in the middle. And so I think Kansas City would be a really good place for that. So there's going to be some events going on down there, and that'll be fun. That's the first 6 months. So I haven't gotten to the whole vision board yet. But yeah, being seen and being bold, leading with love first. That's my new word for the year. So I already created that.
I love that.
Great. Good. Thank you.
You're
What are you
welcome.
going to create in 2026 that you're letting go? Nothing.
Oh, oh man. Um, 2025 has been a year of insane growth uh, for me. And, because one of the things that I really wanted to do is I wanted to be around people that get me to my core and know like who I am, the kind of leader that I am. And also kind of can call me out on like, Jen, you really are the best kept secret that nobody really knows about. Not only do I get calls from you, but I got an hour and a half long call from Melanie Miller yesterday that was like, girl, come on, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And so just having some of these people around me that are like, we're not going to be best kept secrets anymore.
Exactly.
And then I'm also cultivating some events as well too. I twice this week already, people are like, I want to do an in-person event with you. And I was like, well, great, because I was already thinking about doing an in-person event because my last one got postponed. So,
Yeah.
yes, let's do that. So it's saying yes more to that, but then also being a little bit more specific about what the yeses are. So knowing what those are, and my event is going to be a little bit different than a lot of other events. And so it's going to be,
Absolutely. 100%.
it's going to be
100% it'll be
very
different.
interesting. And then hosting, and then I'm going to start also hosting little micro events here locally, but then also micro events at big conferences. And so that's
Yes,
gonna that's gonna that's gonna be fun.
That's gonna be fun.
I really like doing those. Those are amazing. Those are so much fun. That is where I have met some of the most just genuine down to earth humans is just by putting up this and saying, hey, whoever's gonna come, I'll buy you tea, I'll buy you water, and I'll buy you an appetizer. Just come hang out with other people that show up.
Yep.
And so I love doing that. I love like you, like I just like meeting new people.
Yeah, I love that. I love sitting at a table and learning what the ins and outs of a different human and where they've been, where they're going, and they'll bring in their gifts that they're bringing forward. I love that because then it just makes us better humans.
Yeah. I think this has
this
been the best episode, and it's also the last one of 2025.
Oh my gosh. Well, no wonder the question today then. No
Yes.
wonder the question.
Yes, because we have another amazing human that's going to be the January 8th. I'm not going to tell you who it is yet, not live anyways. I can tell
That's
you.
a great day.
Yes, it is a great day. So
Mhm.
I'm excited. But
This has been great. Thank you so much. This rant conversation has been beautiful. I appreciate you.
yes, I